Okay, so I am very behind. So what is up, Scarnet, bringing you Pokemon Scarlet and Violet breakdown analysis video. So yeah, I already covered the first trailer, and now I'm at the second trailer, moving on to like the others until the most recent one, and I am 7 trailers behind. So this is gonna very well be an hour video, but don't worry, like if you want to go straight to the newer stuff, there's the timestamps in the below description. You might find something out new if you want to just still hear what I have to say on the subjects of all these trailers and the Pokemon and my thoughts on that. But you know, I get it if you want to go straight to the point. But yeah, sorry for being so damn behind, but let's get this started. So this first clip right here, she's getting ready and putting her backpack on, and then there's some stickers on the left with Applin, Drifloon, and Hatenna. So there's that, along with the male character also getting ready, but this is the Violet version one compared to the Scarlet version character. Let's leaving out of the house and heading towards the purple house, and you kind of see a crossroads in the overhead angle. And then this is like the Pokemon Center, and it looks a bit different, wouldn't you say? You could kind of see some stuff kind of advertised in this little segment right here. Yeah, this is the Pokemon Center, believe it or not. Once you get in there, it kind of looks like almost like a gas station, one might say. I think this is the west of it looks southwestish to me. So that's a bit interesting. But yeah, the Violet character is just there. So this is the 2 academies. It is officially a thing with the 2 academies of Uva and Naranja. So we'll get more into that in a little bit. But yeah, Scarlet and Violet, getting close up of this TV. And now these are our 2 professors. My name is Professor Sada. My name is Professor Turo. And for these 2 professors, the reason is Professor Sada and Professor Turo, and there's not named after trees. Maybe there is a tree somewhere that's like that, I don't know. But Professor Sada stands for pasado, which means past, and Professor Turo means futuro, which is the Spanish word for future. So that's the resemblance right there. And then we see the starters right here. Don't they look adorable? Look at Sprigatito, look at Quaxley, and then look at Fuecoco. You know, even though I said we were gonna do a video on predictions and all that, yeah, I obviously couldn't. My time constraints and my scheduling, but besides that, we will eventually do them. Don't you worry about that. So if you want to turn in your prediction pictures of what they may look like, feel free. I'm looking forward to them. So you see Sprigatito smelling flowers, and Quaxley sprinkling his hair, and Fuecoco about to burn this apple because that's how he likes them. Are these 3's trainer? It's a bit weird why she says that, but nonetheless, the Scarlet trainer sends us Sprigatito versus this lady right here. We'll get to know her name. And this is one of the newest Pokemon introduced, and that Pokemon name is Pawmi. Pawmi is one of the Pokemon used by the person right here. We're gonna get to that in a little bit, but I want to talk about Pawmi right quick. It is a mouse Pokemon, electric type, 1 foot tall, or is it just 1 inch? I think it's 1 inch. 5.5 pounds with the ability static and natural cure. Electricity discharging organs in its forepaws. In addition to electric sacs in its cheeks, Pawmi was electricity discharging organs in its forepaws. It generates electricity by rubbing its cheeks, then it shocks its opponents by touching them with the pads on its forepaws. Thick fur that stores electricity. Not only is the fur that covers its body good insulation against the cold, but it also serves the purpose of storing electricity. When it feels uneasy, this cautious Pokemon will begin rubbing its cheeks, preparing itself to discharge an electric shock. So yeah, obviously this is the Pikachu of the game. I have no idea, like I do get the feeling that it will evolve, I just really have no idea what. Since it has like the paws thing, I feel like I get the feeling, here's my guess, right? Like I think it's since his forearms are like that, and I don't think it's gonna be like a super strong or buff Pokemon. I do kind of have a feeling that it might be somewhat like a cheerleader type, just like the Oricorio, like the yellow one, just a little bit. I don't know, because I'm not even sure what it is, so I feel like I'm like 95% wrong, but who knows. That's just an idea, because I never actually thought about what would it evolve into, but you know, whatever. I know this is your first Pokemon battle, so let's just have some fun. So they're showing some battles right here with Pawmi attacking and the Violet trainer also fighting them. The power of science is amazing. If you connect with friends, you can head out adventures together, up to 4 of you at a time. So yeah, they're introducing that there is a multiplayer, like you guys could kind of basically do a co-op journey with multiple people, which is really good. And I like how the 4th character is represented by Pikachu. And with them going to all these other places, the one in particular right next to the Red Mountains that we discussed before, this guy in I think the area where the Starlies were, this Harry Potter blonde dude at the Ice Mountains obviously, and then that lady in the cave that I'm not sure if it's the one at the top left, but you know, there's that much. And then there's fletchlings here, so it's confirmed that Fletchinder and Talonflame is in the game, so that's really good. Here's a Flaffy, which means Mareep and Ampharos are in the game. And then here's a brand new other Pokemon. This one is called Smoliv. He is an olive Pokemon, grass normal type. 1 inch tall, 14.3 pounds, with the early bird ability, which is weird because it's not a bird. Or maybe it will be. Who knows? Because like out of all the trailers, there hasn't been a Route 1 bird yet, so it'd be kind of interesting in a very weird way if it is. You know, now that I think about it, what the hell? That's so weird. I don't know why there's no Route 1 bird. Anyway, oil's so bitter and astringent, it will make you flinch. The oil that comes out of his head has a very strong bitter taste and is not suitable for consumption. When startled or attacked, Smoliv will shoot this oil out, slowing its opponents down, and it then seize that moment to run away. Fine without eating or drinking though, and the fruit on his head, Smoliv stores oil from his nutrients and gathers through photosynthesis. As a result, it can go for a week without eating or drinking. It prefers dry and sunny climates, and it seems to spend its days sunbathing. Now, as for what it could possibly evolve, it's kind of an interesting question, because to me, when I think of olives, you know, obviously there's like, you know, cocktails and stuff like that, any wine drink with the olive with the toothpick, and then there's the olive branches and Olive Garden. But now that I think about it, I still don't understand why there's no Route 1 bird. It would be interesting if it turns out that this clear grass type will become a bird, because who knows, maybe that olive underneath is an actual egg, but who knows, it could, I'm pretty sure it's just an olive. As for the evolution, it'll be very interesting. I think since it's such a nervous Pokemon, it prefers peace, because I really don't get that like it's a cowardly Pokemon that will evolve into something very beastly and like, you know, just like how Wimpod was that, and then he evolves into a monster pretty much. I don't really get that vibe with this one. I feel like since olive branches are a sign of peace, that he'll be a very peaceful Pokemon. So something like, I think this look is gonna look somewhat between Vileplume and Blossom is the vibe I get, but we'll see when we get there. And as the Scarlet Trainer goes to catch this Smoliv, you kind of see the option to critical capture. Not really the option to, but as it shakes in the air, I could kind of see that it does in fact critical captures. As you see the Violet Trainer running through the grass, like I said, by the top left, we see the next Pokemon. This is Lechonk. Lechonk is a hog Pokemon, a normal type, 1'8", 22.5 pounds, Aroma Veil, and Gluttony as his abilities. And yeah, I do like this Pokemon. This is the equivalent of Rattata basically in the beginning routes, the more common Pokemon you'll find. A Gorman with an excellent nose. Lechonk uses a sense of smell to find and eat only the most fragrant wild grasses and the richest berries. As a result of his dining habits, has come to radiate in auroras resembling herbs that bug Pokemon dislike. Timid and faint-hearted, but also strong. If attacked by an opponent and startled, it will charge forward in a panic. It may appear fat at first glance, but in reality, the Pokemon's body is mostly muscle, built by constantly whacking around in search of food, which tells me, like, I could really visualize what this Pokemon will be, because, like, you know, when they think of pigs and evolving, that is gonna be fat. This Pokemon is gonna be a very swole Pokemon. I'm talking Mega Swampers level, like 3 stages, and the final stage is gonna be somewhat kind of close to an Emboar, but the difference is it's gonna look like a Mega Swampert. It's gonna be a beast, and you know, I can imagine a nose ring. I mean, why wouldn't you give a nose ring to a pig boss, basically? I'm gonna call it, I think the name will be probably Swolebore is my prediction, because I don't know, I just think I could see it. Like, yeah, he's a muscly dude, he's a swole Pokemon. This is all muscle, people. And this is what it looks like for the battle mechanics when it comes to wild Pokemon. You can see the health overhead, it's a level 2 female Lechonk, and then you see the Violet Trainers with his Pokemon. Besides Quaxley, he does have another Pokemon, as you can see, because of the 2, and it's already level 6. 6. So yeah, this is very much Route 1 when you're able to catch Pokemon or whatnot with the battle Pokemon bag and run mechanics, of course, and the check status. So there's that. Lechonk using Tackle. He does like this really cool kind of animation, honestly. As the Violet trainer approaches, he goes in front of this youngster with this t-shirt, which is very interesting because we have not seen this yet. He has the t-shirt of a different type of Taurus, because you already know what a Taurus looks like. It's, you know, brown with 3 tails and it has like the thing in the middle of his head. But there's actually leaks that suggest that there's gonna be a different variant of Tauros, but we have not seen it yet in any of the next 7 trailers. But I do feel like it's gonna happen. Like, I think this is a reliable source, because I'll get on with about the leaks a little bit later, but it is interesting nonetheless. As the youngster sends out a Choodle, so that means Dreadnought is also in this game. And we see the other 2 trainers. I don't know why it's split screen. Oh, it's because they're meeting with each other. And then we see another view of the Pokemon Center right there. So yeah, that's confirmation if you couldn't tell from the side view. And they're doing surprise trades right here. They're switching their Pokemon. They're trading a Larvitar for a Bagon. There's a Venonat just hopping along. I'm going to show a little clip of that. So it confirms that with Venonat being here, there's Venomoths in the canyon area right next to the cave. Speaking of caves, you see the Scarlet trainer running through here with these Pokemon right here, so its full lineup is in the game, along with these, and it being by the beach, so that's a bit interesting, honestly. I'll say why it's interesting in a little bit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, now that I look at it, yeah, there's also Shelter, so that means Cloyster's in the game, along with Cryogonal. We got Gengar, so that means Ghastly and Haunter's in the game. And then we got Lurantis, which means there's pre-evolutions in the game. Here's a screenshot of Talonflame, but we already said that he's confirmed in the game, and we already knew that. Part of me feels like that this trailer was initially planned to have a voiceover, but they just didn't, because they show this overhead view and what it seems to be the grass gym. The reason I say that is because of the flowers, and there's something at the top right which is a Sunflora statue of sorts. I'm not really sure what exactly it is, but it's just standing there, and there's a different screenshot confirming that it's basically a statue in a way. It's just a figurine of sorts. So yeah, I do believe this is the grass gym, especially the coloring with the Pokeball and the stadium field. I'm not sure what those symbols are though on both sides. It kind of looks like a boat with sails on it, but nonetheless, grass gym perhaps confirmed. Is that safe to say? Who knows, maybe because of the windmill it's like the flying type gym, but this person really likes flowers or something. You don't know. Brawley is a fighting type gym leader and he's a straight up surfer. Well, I mean, nowadays he's kind of a weight trainer, but whatever. But the reason I say about the whole voiceover thing is because this thing has also popped up, this broken star with like a bunch of fire around it. And I want to say because in later trailers they reveal that there's 3 storylines in the game that you could do. It's the gym leader storyline where you have to go to the champions rank, the second one which is probably the treasure hunt, and then this third one which, because of this flag, the more I did research on these trailers, the more I kind of found out, or at least have the vibe, that this is in fact the evil team, not the whole conspiracy flag thing that I had been showing that I had a theory about. I think this is the true evil team, is whatever they may be called, the lowriders, I don't know, because it kind of looks like a race flag and all that, so we shall see. And then here's the third aspect of it. We really don't see the Pokemon at all, because I'll show you a little clip of the movement, but there's something digging underground, which I'm pretty sure if your character crosses by it, you're gonna encounter some type of Pokemon. Besides all that, like, it kind of cuts to these 3 right here. It's the gym, and then the treasure hunt on this tower, which is where we saw like the stone journers or whatever they're called, right by the desert. I think that's that place, along with the flags that I was talking about. And then we got this other character. I guess this is player number 4 because he's with this Pikachu. I already said Pikachu was confirmed in this game. I don't think I see any Pokemon around in these other screenshots. No, I don't. Okay. But this is the big one right here. Like, they literally went widescreen and everything for this. And it says not actual game footage, but it takes you to this canyon and it kind of does a drone shot where it's going through, like if it's hovering over, and then it goes up into this mountain and it reveals what the box art legendaries on this island with this big ass mountain. So I want to introduce to you the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet legendaries, Koraidon and Miraidon. But yeah, as you're looking at the screenshots, I'll read what it says about both Pokemon, starting with Koraidon. It actually doesn't say too much. It doesn't even reveal the typing. That's a bit weird. Koraidon is a legendary Pokemon you can meet in Pokemon Scarlet, and Miraidon is a legendary Pokemon you can meet in Pokemon Violet. These two Pokemon are said to have powers that are far surpass those of other Pokemon, but details about Koraidon and Miraidon are still shrouded in mystery. Well, as the other trailers come out, you shall see. But my first impressions when I saw this Pokemon, it didn't really make too much sense that the Pokemon Violet legendary Miraidon was all technically advanced. And then, like, you know, it's not until it's established what more so is everything's about, because Koraidon is about the past, you know, because of Professor Sada. You know, the theme is about the past, is about tradition, it's about, you know, what it was in its primitive state. Now for Miraidon, it is the new age, it is technology, it is the future. That's why Professor Turo is what he is, because the theme of Pokemon Violet is about the future. It throws me off a little bit, because like I'm not sure where in the timeline like Miraidon would be a thing. Cause like in the timeline of Pokemon Violet, where at one point is Koraidon converted into this? Cause I understand like Pokemon like Genesect and, you know, Mewtwo's genetically altered and like all these other Pokemon are made, but I do like the looks of it, because later it kind of grew on me about like both of these Pokemon and the way they look. I didn't understand what it was on their chest at first, not till later though, but we shall see. They're both in the cover of the respective games, of course, with Koraidon being on Pokemon Scarlet and Miraidon being on Pokemon Violet. And both of these games are releasing worldwide on Friday, November 18th on 2022. So there's that. And they kind of show a little hints of what's going on with all these crystals, and it kind of looks bubbling and all that. And this Pokeball coming out of nowhere. Ooh, what that might be about. We shall see. So actually I'm gonna go separate these parts over. I decided on doing different parts with depending on what trailer it is into their own thing, because at first I wanted to combine all this to make this giant hour special. Well, not really hour special, but like this giant hour breakdown analysis, news roundup of sorts. But then I'm all like, it might be overwhelming to some, and especially to some that already seen this before, that's go like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the timestamps or whatever. With that, like, if you learn anything new here or have any interesting thoughts, like the fact that I, you know, thought up of the whole Smoliv Route 1 thing, he could be the Route 1 bird, because who knows if he could be the actual egg. I just did some research on it, and he could be very well like the dove with the olive branch or something, because it's like a form of peace and everything. So that's kind of an interesting thought, especially since his ability is early bird. With that being said, just take it with a pinch of salt, because he's not the only non-bird Pokemon that has the early bird ability, because there's Houndour that has early bird. So yeah, just take it with a pinch of salt, but it's still an interesting thought. Let me know what you guys think. I want to see some designs with the future Smoliv evolution, whether he gets 2 or 3. And who knows, maybe it could be the other way around, where he could very well be a Vileplume Blossom lookalike evolution. But yeah, for the foreseeable future, I wanted to go double up on Scarlet and Violet breakdown analysis videos. So besides having Mystery Dungeon, Vetlog, and Fortnite, I'm gonna actually have Scarlet and Violet videos in between that, just so I could finally catch up, because I am very behind, especially since I want to do so much more like breaking down the map and then wanting to cover what could be possibly the evolutions for the starters. I need to catch up immediately, so just watch out for that in the future. You know, if you have already seen that, I think that you should still take a gander, because you might hear something that you haven't heard from any other person, especially since, like I said, the Smoliv thing is way different than what I hear from other people talking about when they're doing breakdown analysis. It might be worth to watch these thoughts that are coming across, you know, so. But yeah, let me know what you think. White Tigers and Dragons to you, and you've been scarred by the night. I'm out.